Good morning. This is Valerie Leonard. I'm the founder of nonprofit Utopia. I want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I want to welcome you. You are welcome to join us in the Zoom room. We have attached a link in the description for this live stream on social media. All right. For those of you who have been following, we are finishing up our census month for October, and actually our census month is going to extend into next week and possibly the following week. We have shown you how to navigate Census.gov, and now we're doing a series of training, so to speak, to show you how to use Census.gov for very practical purposes, things like finding, like looking at your market, right, your service area, looking at it for business planning, which we'll focus on today, strategic planning, program planning, etc. All right, next week we're going to focus on policy advocacy, and then we will schedule another one for housing. All right, so without further ado, I am going to share my screen because our purpose today is to show you real world application for census.gov. So in addition to sharing, ways for you to navigate census.gov, my role today is to share with you an overview of the business planning process. All right. And maybe not so much the planning process, but the business plan itself. I have joining me today Ileana Serrano. She is a data dissemination specialist with Census, and she is going to be sharing the bulk of the load for this presentation. And I do apologize for those of you who attended yesterday. We had technical difficulty and we were not able to fully hear what Ileana had to say. And I believe that what she has to say is much more important, right? Our whole raison d'etre is to learn about the census. Okay. All right, so a little bit about nonprofit Utopia. Our mission is to train the next generation of ethical nonprofit leaders, and we do this through training such as this. We also do consulting, coaching, and we have online courses and an online bookstore. And our vision is to train up to 50,000 ethical nonprofit leaders around the world between now and 2033. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to nonprofitutopia.com or nonprofitutopia.mn.co. A little bit about myself. I've been in this space for over 30 years in one form or fashion. I teach courses in nonprofit management at the university level. I also teach courses in small business development, specifically social enterprise as well. And now to get into what it is we're here for, as we have indicated time and time again, as nonprofit leaders, from time to time, you are going to need to rely on census statistics, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to a preset a preset list of statistics that assumes one size fits all. They're very generalized, and you quickly find out that they don't always fit your specific circumstance. So we're here today to show you how you can navigate census.gov so that you can develop your own data sets and map so that you can use data to support your specific instance. And Ileana will show you how to manipulate census.gov so that you can do that. And before we go into that, we want to also share with you what a business plan is. A business plan operationalizes the strategies that are outlined in your strategic plan. Remember, we said that the strategic plan is organization-wide, and it shows you how to position yourself for change in the environment in which you operate. You look at your strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and then you come up with a set of corporate strategies to help you to capitalize on your strengths, and defend against any threats that you might have, with the goal of satisfying your mission and improving the lives of the people that you serve. The business plan usually focuses on a business model as opposed to a program, right? And when we talk about a business model, we're talking about ways that you can serve your clients using products and services, but you're looking at revenue as opposed to grants. And when we talk about revenues, we're talking about sales from delivering a specific product or service, right? As opposed to writing a grant and you kind of know how much money up front you're going to. A business plan, is looking really at a more risky prospect, because you never really know how many sales you're going to get, right? And a good business plan guides you through each stage of your process, right? From starting the business all the way to managing it, right? So you're going to use it as a roadmap for how to structure, run, and grow your business. And it's a good way to think through the key elements of your business. Business plans can help you get funding or bring on new business partners. Investors want to feel confident that they'll see a return on their investment. And your business plan is a tool you'll use to convince people that work with you or invest in your company that they've made a smart choice. And that definition comes from the CDFI fund. All right, so here are typical sections of a business plan. And you can see this is a little bit different from a program. Remember, a program is really, you're looking at what's going on in the community. You set goals and objectives. You determine what resources you need in order to meet those goals and objectives. You look at the activities in which you're engaged, and then you look at the change that you want to see happen, as a result of the activities in which you're engaged. And then you're going to develop measurements, right, that we call outcomes, right? And then you develop a budget. Well, a business plan is a little bit different. The first section is your executive summary, right? And that's basically summarizing everything else that's in the plan. You want to kind of get the who, the what, the why, right? Make your business case all on one page, and then talk about the project cost. All right, now in this list where you see asterisks, that is where you can find some of your data using Census.gov. So starting with the market analysis, we're going to start very broadly and look at industry trends. And when we look at industry trends, we're looking at groups of like companies. It could be nationally, it could be statewide, what's going on with the company. And then when we drill down to the market, we're talking geographically, maybe your community or maybe a certain section in the city, or we can also be talking demographically, right? We are trying to reach, a certain person, a type of person, certain age and income. All right, so with the industry trends, you're going to be looking at the economic census, and then with total market, you might be using demographic and other data. And then with the target market as well, you're going to be using demographic data. With your competition, you'll be using economic census data. And then with your suppliers, you'll be using economic census data. And again, we'll get a demonstration of that later on. With your marketing plan, you are focused on overall strategy, products and services, pricing, place, and promotion. And when we talk about place, we're talking about where you're going to be distributing your product or service, right? Are you going to be using stores to make direct contact with your customer? Will you be using town hall meetings to, make announcements about your product or service, etc.? When we look at the management plan, we're looking at things like your organizational structure, your staffing, your job descriptions, the resumes of your key employees, the key operational functions. What is it, the nuts and bolts of your business that you either propose to start, or you're looking for financing for, or remember, you can use your business plan internally for your own management purposes. And then you might want to include, optionally, other plans and policies that support your business plan. And then finally, you're going to include your financial data. How much does it cost for us to implement this business and stay in business? And if you are an entrepreneur, you're going to include a personal financial statement. You'll include the historical data if this is an existing business. If it's not an existing business, this is a startup, you'll include pro forma data. Then you'll have projection assumptions, tell us why you think you're going to make X number of dollars. And then you'll have your profit and loss and cash flow projections. And then you'll have your projected balance sheet. And then your amortization schedule, which is basically a schedule of how you will pay the investors or lenders back. And then you will include your appendix, and your appendix will be other supporting data for your plan. And by and large, this could include some census data. All right. So if there are any questions, please feel free to post them in chat, and I will be monitoring the chat. And if you want to talk to me, more fully, you can email me at ValerieFLeonard@nonprofitutopia.com. And then, Ileana's going to also leave her contact information where you can contact her directly. Again, if you want to join nonprofitutopia.com, go to nonprofitutopia.mn.co. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and LinkedIn and other social media. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and then turn it over to Ileana. And remember, I will be monitoring chat on social media. If you have any questions, you can feel free to post those questions. If you want to join us here in the Zoom room, I did post a link where you can come in and join the conversation yourself, here and ask questions directly. All right. Thanks again for joining us.
Let me know, Valerie, when you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I can see it now.
Okay, great. So good morning, everyone. I am Ileana Serrano. I'm a data dissemination specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau, and I work in the Chicago region, which covers 8 states, and that would be Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and Missouri and Arkansas. My primary area of coverage is providing data support, census data support to Illinois and Indiana, but I do back up Michigan and Wisconsin as well, plus other states as needed. Essentially, what I do is disseminate the data that the Census Bureau publishes, and that is also entailing helping our data users or stakeholders understand what is being released from what survey or what program, and also helping people navigate our various data extraction tools, of which there are many. You should be viewing my screen, which is the splash page of Census.gov. And basically, this is going to be your entry port into anything with regards to census. When we're talking about business information, business data from the economic census, and our monthly, quarterly, and annual reports. On the left, right-hand side, I should say, of the screen, you're going to see economic indicators. These are the top industries and sectors of our economy for which we provide very current data. It used to be that it would take us about 3 to 5 days to post the data once we tabulated all the reports. Now you're looking at data that happens within 3 minutes or so of us tabulating the report. So these are all, and you can scroll down to view some more. And if you are interested in any of these and also want to look at the detailed tables and or any historical previously released reports, on this site you will have the links that take you there directly. Census Bureau releases a lot of data, and if you will, as you scroll down, you will find different sections of the page that have those data releases. So it's always a good recommendation to peruse what we have released. The front and center one is the one that is taking most of the interest, if you will, with regards to the decennial census results, COVID-19, and our local ACS data. Okay, so you have that available. But right off the top, to get at your data, when you are doing your investigation, it's a good idea to have a profile of your geography, your place, your state, your county, the area that you are going to service. Later on, as you walk through we walk through the tools, you'll understand why the data is not available for all geographies. For instance, one request that we hear of a lot, and it's not just to particular to Chicago, it's throughout the nation, is individuals want neighborhood data. Well, neighborhood data or neighborhoods are locally defined areas. They don't necessarily adhere or are part of census geography. So we would need to see what could correlate to a neighborhood, what would be corresponding, and from the available geographies that we tabulate data for, that would be on a track level. And on our first exercise of census in October with nonprofit Utopia, we did run through an exercise of how you can identify your neighborhood, pull the tracks that are in that neighborhood, and then start pulling data using data.census.gov. For this one, since it's mostly business, we're going to go a different route. So to get a complete profile of your area, it's a good thing to see the total landscape before you drill down. And this one tool that we have on our page is Quick Facts. It is one of our most easy, user-friendly tools that you can have. The only limitation to this tool is that the population of the location has to be 5,000 or more. So if you have a zip code that is 5,000 or more, which there are some, if you look at New York, a whole building could be in its entire zip code. And even here, you can find that as well. So you need to know that. But mostly it's state, county, city, town, or villages that we produce the profiles for. It defaults automatically to the United States, and front and center is the population count. You don't need to keep this. And what's good about this tool is that you can compare 6 different geographies at one time. So it defaults to the US. Let's look at Illinois as the state. And then I'm going to do Cook County. And then further drill down to a community, and then let's see, Elmhurst. Let's look at Elmhurst. Okay, so right off the top, you have a geographic comparison spreadsheet, and this will allow you to do 2 more. It's a total of 6. And as you scroll down, you see that you have a complete profile. All the cohorts are there with regards to population, age and sex, race and Hispanic origin, characteristics of the population, housing, living dynamics. You have education, health, economy, transportation, income and poverty, and towards the bottom you have some business data that is available to kind of give you an idea of the industries or the businesses that are powering those communities, county, state, so on and so forth. These that have X's because they are very particular types of data. The universe for this is rather small, so we do risk identifying who our respondents are. Therefore, the data is not published. And that happens the same with our demographic data. And we'll talk about this when we go through our demo on DCG. But here you have definitely a complete profile of the place or your service area, whichever it may be, state, county, city or town, or even a zip code, if you so find one. When people look at this tool and they want to drive a specific variable or topic line to the top, you can do that by using the filters at the top and the topics filter in the table itself. So you can scroll down and say, I want it to look at the population 65 and over. The tool brings it right up to the top. There's your subject line, and it highlights the item, the line item in its particular cohort, so you can get some perspective. If this is still too busy, too distracting, you can filter it to that particular cohort by coming down, and since we are looking at age and sex, that's where that line item is at. I'm selecting that. Now everything else is in background and you have your particular data here. You can view it in different ways. This is a table format. You can look at a map or a chart or a dashboard. And let's look at Elmhurst. That will allow you to view this particular data, especially your line item, your particular variable, in 3 different ways. You've got your map, you've got your table, and you have your chart down here. Okay, it charts it off all the way, a comparison throughout all the places in Illinois. What's good about this tool is that if you have a surrounding area that you want to bring into your analyses, you can bring it in by just clicking on it and selecting it, and the table will update those geographies that you are adding. Okay, so right now I added Addison, Lombard. Let me add Villa Park. We've got, okay, up to 6. I've got 2 more. Okay, so we have these, and now if you go to your table, okay, this table will show up for all the places that you have selected, and you can take out US and add another one if you like with a particular, and you can change the line item depending on what topic of interest is at forefront. You can also print, create a CSV, email this link, embed it, share it on social media if you so wish. But this is the one easiest tool that we have that gives you the landscape, your profile of that one geography or geographies that you're looking for. Okay. I know this is kind of fast. If you forget anything that we went through today, you can always go to what's new and FAQs, and it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to use the filters, set your geographies, manipulate the maps, the dashboard, so on and so forth. Okay, and this is as it is right front and center of our Census.gov page. Now, when you're looking at business data, we've got industry, we've got sector type data. Your navigational tabs up at the top of the page will take you to that particular page that has the data on that topic and the surveys and censuses or programs that collect data for that topic, industry or sector. I suggest that if you're serious about looking and using economic census or any of our business data to understand the collection process, the geographies, the limitations, that you peruse what we have to offer online. For instance, a lot of questions on business data, we want to know who our competitors are. And in terms of not just what businesses are out there, but who's running these businesses, who owns these businesses. Are they veterans? Are they minority? Are they, what education level, what age level, so on and so forth. You can get that through our business and owners characteristics. And on that one, when you click on it, it will take you to that particular page where it will list out the different business owners. And it's taking a little bit kind of slow today. Hasn't had its coffee yet. Okay, there it is. So you have the page, you've got um, information about the topic, what kind of data is produced, and the surveys and programs that collect that data. And you have tables that are already done for you, news articles that are done, releases, visualizations, so you can peruse through these to see what it is that this is referring to. Or you can go surveys and programs. Let's see again, it's a little slow. And here you have data from those particular programs. So you have trade detail, capital expenditures, ABS, the annual business survey program, of course, gives you employer business, so on and so forth. And also, one thing that people usually forget when they're looking at business data is non employer statistics. You may have a business that you run yourself, there are no employees. You have to consider that when you're looking at your business plan because it's not only the employers, I should say, or the businesses that have employees that are in that community. You also have a lot of independent contractors or cottage businesses, those that do not have employers, but they are also your competitors as well. So you have to look at non-employer statistics. Okay. So this will give you a lot of information that you can peruse through and look at your business data. Before you get to the business, you need to identify what your business is through the NAICS codes or the North American Industry Classification System. Okay, you can go through here or just go up at top on our search engine, type in NAICS, and this will help you. If you don't know it already, it will help you identify your particular business. We all know that we are very, very particular in describing our businesses because they can be very, very different. One, you can say, for instance, a restaurant. I want to open up a restaurant. When you look at the different establishments that are out there that are restaurants, if you will, you've got takeouts, you've got formal dining, you've got restaurants that do not sell liquor. It's a BYOB, bring your own booze. You've got pubs, breweries, you've got bakeries that also serve lunch or breakfast. All of those are different under the restaurant umbrella, so we have to be specific. You can come in here and do, for instance, a broad topic, healthcare, right? When you put it in there, you see, okay, maybe not. Healthcare is way too broad on the NAICS sector. So what you've got to do is section it out again. Let's see, home. Okay, now you're getting more specific. Now you've got individual NAICS codes that kind of define what your endeavor is or your establishment is. If you go into the home healthcare agencies, click that and you've got further breakdowns of what that includes. Okay. So this is how you drill down to find your NAICS industry code. And with that, you can go to, let's see, Census.gov, back to the splash page, come into Explore Data, Explore Data Main. And this is using data.census.gov, which is our premier data extraction tool. This is where you can get economic data as well as demographic data for your market analysis and or your planning, your business plan. So you can go to data, and under the advanced search, okay, you have down on the left hand side under our filters, you can go to codes, and this is new, the North American product classification system. We did not have this before, but if you are promoting a product, you can find a code through that. Again, you have to go through that identification process, but you can get, current data on product services. But for industry, you can come up, click on that, and here you have the codes. 2-digit codes are very broad based, and the more digits you add, the more specific you get. 6-digit is the most specific we can get in terms of a description of a particular establishment. Okay, so if you scroll down, you find all of those that may have of interest to you. Since we were on the healthcare, we'll go there. We have ambulatory hospitals, nursing, or social assistance. If you're providing services, social assistance, you can click on that, and further choices are available for you. If you click on a box, that means you can't go any further. Okay. If you're looking at family, individual, you can go youth services and go there and then set your geography. Okay. And this will, whatever is grayed out means that we do not have data for. So let's say I wanted to start at the county level. Let's go to Illinois and Cook County. All right. So let's look and see if I click the search. Awfully slow for this morning. Let me just do this. Kick it up again. Right? So sometimes you have to refresh it. It's a Friday. I don't know. But once you start with that search, it will bring back, it will render for you different tables. And of course, it defaults to the decennial, which is the most current data that we have online. And if you want to start looking at your market, you can look at that. But I think we were looking at NAICS code, and this table did not take me there. This search did not take me there. Let me just start anew. Let's go here. And search. And we were looking at NAICS codes for 62 and social assistance. Is it individual family, youth and services, child and youth, the final, and then geography. Actually, before I do the geography, I'm just leave it at that and then see what the table brings out. See, that was faster. Here we have our main tables, and of course, it always default to the national. So you have your business pattern data, which brings back a lot of the information that you need with regards to the number of establishments, their annual payroll, quarterly payroll, and number of employees. Once you get to a table such as this one, you can start customizing it to your particular geography. So on the left-hand side, we're going to click on Filter, Geography. Let's do county level, Illinois, and then let's go to Cook. All right, and let's see what happens there. Lord, this is slow. I apologize. I don't know what's going on that is causing such a delay in the rendering of these tables. I mean, it's not like I gave it a lot of geographies, but here it is at the county level. Okay, so you have Cook County, you have your NAICS codes, what it means, all establishments, so on and so forth. And then you can explore drilling further down to see if you can get it at the place or at the tract level or at the zip code. I'm not sure it's available at the tract, but I know that it is available at the zip code level. Okay, so that's how you start to look for industry or establishment type data from a particular industry or sector. The other thing that we have that you is available to you is what we call our Census Business Builder. And this will help you look at the business landscape of any particular industry that you are looking at. So we look at Explore Data. We're going to go to Data Tools and Apps. Okay. And as we scroll down, we're going to look for Census Business Builder right here. Now we have two versions of this tool. One is a single geography for individual businesses. The other one, or its sister tool, is the one if you manage a region, or you can create your region by going into the RA version, the Regional Analyst Edition. They function about the same, other than this is a single geography, this is multiple geographies. Okay, so we're going to go to the Small Business Edition. And again, we try to cover all of the industries available. These are our main sectors. If you look at it and say, well, my industry is not, or my business is not represented there, if you know the NAICS code or your industry title, you can key it in down at the search engine. But we went into home health or healthcare, and we're going to explore home healthcare. And it's telling you right off the bat, in the US, there are 32,464 establishments under the home health care NAICS code. Okay. Now, when you go on the right hand side, there's two ways that you can go about it in terms of a location. Find My Location will look at the IP of your address. But say for me, I wanted to look at, since we did Elmhurst before, I'm going to look for Elmhurst. Okay, and do a landscape analysis on this site. So it's Elmhurst, and you can go straight to the report or go to the map so you can visualize it. And don't worry about losing your way through this tool. We do have on our Census Academy, we do have recorded videos of presentations with regards to these tools. So another resource that is available for you 24/7, not only to this resource, but to data.census.gov and our data releases and so on. So what you're looking at is a rendition of the geographies surrounding Elmhurst. We have our industry selected on the upper right-hand side, and then we have our geography. And these little down arrows allow you to change geographies or industry codes or titles as you wish. It defaults to population, but if you have another topic that you want to explore, these are the categories. You've got customers, which of course are the people that you're looking to serve. You've got business data, quarterly data, workforce data, because if you run a business or not, you might want to know who the workforce is, or are there enough people in my area for me to hire to help run my business. Building permits, if you are looking for kind of housing data, okay. Consumer spending, we partnered with Esri and they purchased this data, point of sale. So you have an idea of how much is being spent on a particular activity. And of course, you can set your own variable. Your secondary categories are the demographics that you can get from ACS or from the American Community Survey. And these variables you can explore even further than what's listed here using data.census.gov. And as you scroll down the variables, you can see that they're quite a variety, quite a selection depending on what you are looking at. Okay, and these variables, you got to do them one at a time. You do a primary category and a secondary category. You can't, it won't allow you to tab across all of these. That's where you would have to go to data.census.gov. But
Wow, this is very powerful. Every time you do a presentation, I find something new and powerful. So thank you so much.
There are a lot of tools that one can explore that really, in other words, people say that you go down a rabbit hole real quick on census.gov, and it's true, you do.
Yeah.
But
All this,
anyway,
yeah, all of this stuff that people are paying for. I'm looking at this report and I've seen people spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to generate this kind, well, for somebody else to generate this kind of data for them, and they could do it for free on census.gov.
a very valid point, Valerie. It is, a lot of marketers come into our website and grab the data, repackage it, and sell it or promote it or market it, to their target area. But all of this, like you pointed out, is available 24/7, and it's free. Invest a little bit of time and effort in learning it, understanding it, and you are on your way to producing all these data reports without the cost. So to get back onto previewing the tool, you've got population total. Now I'm going to select a second total because I was looking at population of 65 and over for my home health care. So I'm going to look at that, select it. Now you get a different view of the map, okay? And what you're looking at is on the right-hand side, this legend pertains to the variables that I have selected. Whereas on the left-hand side, this dashboard here is particular to the total population or population demographics of Elmhurst, okay? And you can minimize this to play around with the map. Very touchy screen, so be careful if you're using a mouse. But what you're looking at is those communities around Elmhurst that meet that have a greater population of 65 and older. And you can further filter that by coming over to the other filter and bringing it up and saying, oh, it's not this one. This one over here. That window disappeared. Okay, I'm going to select 65 and over. And now it brings a little slider. Okay, this is giving me the average between 5% and 17.6% of the population of Elmhurst that is 65 and over. Well, I don't want it from 5%. Let's say I want to look at it 10% and over. You can enter it manually if you so wish by going over here on the right-hand side. But let me look at 15% or over. Apply filter. You get a different rendition of the population estimates, okay, in that particular range that you have detected. So my home health care, if I wanted to branch out, it's not so much as Elmhurst, but look at Bloomingdale. That is a bigger cut of that group or targeted population group that I'm looking at. Or down here at Oak Brook, you can look at over here, over here. Just touch these places and it will change for you. Okay, open this up. And now Westchester Village is my dashboard. Okay, because that is what I had selected. Once you play around with these filters to look at the landscape, because basically what this tool is, it's a geography tool. You have a layer of maps over a layer of business data or economic data, over a layer of ACS demographic data, over a layer of consumer expenditure data, over a layer of building permit data. Okay, so different renditions depending on the variables that you play around with or that you set will give you different results. But once you are done with your exploration, you can go over to the left-hand side and create a report. And this report will include who your potential customers are, business summaries, and consumer spending. Okay. And as you scroll down, you can click on that particular line, it'll take you there. But you have interactives that you can also engage with. So this is going to the population. I'm going to click on that variable, the graphs change. Keep scrolling down, median household, average household size, percent in poverty, the graphs change. Keep coming down, okay. Let's say renter occupied units. And you keep coming down, and in this particular sector that we're looking at for home health care, now you're going to get into your business data. Okay. Again, some of it you will have, some of it you will not, depending on whether it's available. And if this is something that you like for here, non-employer businesses, the data is not available on this tool, but you can definitely explore the non-employer business data on data.census.gov. But if you like this report, you can come over to the upper right-hand side and then download it, Excel, CSV, or a PDF to grab those graphs, okay? Now with the going back to data.census.gov, this is your business side of the data. Let me come back and clear it. You want to do a market analysis of a targeted population group. You can do that here. Let's do geography. Since we were in Elmhurst, I'm going to do place. It's going to ask, where is that place? And then come back here and do, okay. And if you do urban rural demarcations, you definitely have that availability. So I'm going to look at Elmhurst, and then let me look at, again, people and population, because that's where my age and sex is at. Or say I wanted to reach the older population to speak a particular language. So I want to see what language is spoken at home. All right, language spoken at home. You've got a lot of tables that you can select from. Okay, let me look at the first one there. And so now for Elmhurst, I'm looking at specific languages, not very well, so on and so forth, different breakouts that you can look at. Here's the 65 and over. So I have an indication of if I am going to be providing services to these, this population group, I better have people that speak that language. Okay, and you have the breakdowns as you come down. Okay, and there are other versions or iterations of the table that you can look at. Okay, and again, this is just a launching pad. You want to change the filters or change the topics. These are the data chips that you have selected. Make sure you keep an eye on that, because if you introduce a survey, another geography or a topic, you might negate or cross tab that won't produce a result. So just, if you're just a beginner for using this data tool, start single topics in a single geography. And as you gain more confidence and learn how the tool moves, that's when you can start mixing and matching your topics for cross tabulations. But this is a very powerful tool, renders you a lot of data for your targeted population group, your marketing analysis, your business analysis with the Census Business Builder. And this, you can create, add this to your business plan. And I think that's it for now, Valerie. If we have any questions.
I didn't see any questions on Facebook. I did see a comment from Lance Moore, and he thought it was great information that you're sharing.
Wonderful. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that people are being exposed to this, because as you stated, a lot of people don't know about this and how really, it becomes easier once you start understanding the navigation and the landscape in terms of the data and the survey that produces that data. It becomes easier, and you have access to a lot of information that is very helpful.
Yeah, and then as you and I were discussing yesterday, the fact that we're doing so many of these webinars, back to back, and with a lot of overlapping information, yet somewhat different each day, that's helping me to learn it and retain it a whole lot better. So I really do thank you for your patience. And Deborah, did you have any questions or comments? I know you're just joining us in the Zoom room, but I know you're working with communities and small businesses and the like.
I just wanted to thank both of you all for having these sessions. I'm so mad that it wasn't the best time this week or so, but I worked with Ileana back in the 2010 census, and I'm so interested in this data, and I mean, I know the Census Bureau do a lot of work to get us this data, and people just not using it enough, or don't know how to use all the great data that they have at the Census Bureau, and I don't even know how to use it, and I keep, I want to be in that meeting, but time constraints is keeping me from really being really active in learning this stuff. But after the new year, I'm gonna let Ileana get some rest, and then I'm gonna have Valerie doing this at a bigger scale and come the first of the year and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could partner and do something in the community.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Valerie to partner with me for years. So she's seeing now that me and her have the same mindset, and we need to go on and help our community.
Yes. Let's do that in January. We could. I'm not sure if Ileana can actually join us in the room, but we'll figure out some way where we could do something hands-on. If we have people in the room, and maybe Ileana can join us by Skype or something.
Yeah, more interactive. Like I came on when you were saying about Amherst, but I didn't want to interrupt because I'm late. But I didn't know the difference between the yellow color and the blue color and all that kind of stuff. Which one was, so we need more time to ask questions or pointers so that we can see really what you're saying. So, but other than that, I think this is awesome, and we're gonna have to get more people to participate in the new year.
Okay, and we do have these videos. Every video that we've done is on YouTube. So people who were not able to stay the full time or join us, we have all of those videos. Each video is about an hour long, and people can sit through those and watch them as much as they can. But again, we're going to be doing a longer session, about 2 or 3 hours, depending on what our survey results are. And thank you for participating in that survey. And as a result of your questions, we're doing this deeper dive now. We didn't have all these workshops planned. We're just going to do one and be done, right? But you came to that first session, and you and others said that we need to more time. All right.
And this is Ileana. I just wanted to share to Deborah's point. We don't always have the time dedicated, or open to sit in and participate in these live Zooms or, lives as they call them these days. But if you're interested in any of the data tools or the data releases on Census.gov, on Census Academy, we do invite you to look at our archived webinars. You have the presentations, you have the transcript, and you have the video. And you can sit there and look at them at your leisure and stop and go as as you go through the session. And they give you other insights, not just what I just demoed, but other insights into using the Census Business Builder, data.census.gov, our local employment dynamics tool, so on and so forth. There's quite a few out there, and sometimes you might need to look at it once, twice, or even 3 times, but it doesn't matter. They're there for you 24/7, and you can view them and read through them at your leisure. And then if you have questions, then you can contact me, and then we'll walk it through.
Awesome, awesome. And Ileana, thank you so much for sharing your contact information. You can, if you have any questions, you can email Ileana at ileana.c.serrano@census.gov. And you spell Ileana, Ileana, and then there's dot, capital C as in coffee, dot, capital SERRANO @census.gov. And thank you so much. And we'll be coming back on the 3rd to talk about policy advocacy. We're a little bit off from our schedule because we had technical difficulty yesterday and we couldn't have Ileana finish yesterday. So we thought we'd just repeat it today, but we have moved our policy advocacy from today till November 3rd, and we will be rescheduling our housing workshop, after this, and we'll get out a new flyer. And Deborah, thank you so much for all you do in the community. And it's so wonderful, isn't it, to see your data in action? The data you all collected in the community, is really helping people all around, all around the world. So, all right. So without further, Deborah, did you?
No, I was just saying, okay.
All right, so we're going to end it now, and I will make sure folks get links to the videos.
All right, thank you.
All right,
thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.